This is So Many Sequels. I'm Josh.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
We're back for season 5.
That's right.
How amazing is that?
5 times.
I can't believe it, quite frankly.
Oh, wait, everybody, let's high five. Like just bam, right there. Look at that high five. That was stupid.
5 years of this. 3 of them had movies come out. Maybe this one will be better. I'm hoping. We're gonna do some fun new things this year. So definitely hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. You can find that at somanysequels.com. That's where we've got a bunch of links to, your favorite podcast apps, our YouTube channel, however you're finding this, subscribe to it. And also check out our Patreon, patreon.com/somanysequels if you want to support the show. We're going to work on building out some cool new tiers there and just, find some fun ways to engage with people and offer some fun content. So
what can they do? What's one of the things they can get, Josh? I think we know one thing they can get, right?
Well, there are a couple. We've got 2 tiers. We've got a one we call producers, which is just $1. That's like a fifth of a cup of coffee.
Yes. Cup of coffee keeps getting more expensive.
It does, but everything does. With that $1 one though, you don't get nothing. You get look at me try to spiral into finding it real quick because we rewrote them the other day and now I don't know what they are.
Oh, but it's a good offer. I can say that. Trust me. I don't.
You get for $1, if I remember right, you will get a special thank you, a customized video from your lovely hosts here at So Many Sequels. And I think there's another element.
I will say they don't make it easy to find the tiers that you yourself created. So that's
true.
That's small knock, but I found them.
Oh, there we go.
For the $1 producer tier, you get early access to new episodes, most likely the day before they come out. And yes, a personalized video. We'll make a video, the 3 of us or the 4 of us, if Andrew's around, we'll make you a video thanking you for joining. And then we have a $5 tier that is still in the works, but it will include access to our Discord. We're going to have a Discord channel for y'all, and you will be able to nominate a movie for us to review during our we're going to come up with like some kind of fan month or something, I think.
Yeah. Or you can just give us heck for our opinions.
Or that too.
Yeah.
But this month, we're kicking things off strong with Rom-Com month. We figure, it's February, Valentine's Day. Normally, if you've been listening to the show, we would start off with the Oscars. But the Oscars aren't until the end of March this year. So we didn't want to wait that long.
No.
So each of us picked a rom-com to do this month. Some of them are maybe obvious. Some of them are not so obvious. Some of them are questionably rom-coms at all. So we're starting this week with David's pick, which is the 2009 movie Ghosts of Girlfriends Past.
Yeah, baby.
Starring Matthew McConaughey and Jennifer Garner. So not our typical season premiere movie. So David, tell us why you picked this one.
Oh, why wouldn't I pick this one? Okay, because
but why would you?
Oh, okay. Well, let's go with why wouldn't I? That one's easier. No, it's so hard to pick a rom-com for me because while I have seen quite a few, I would not say I have a favorite. The thing is, there was a string there in the early to mid 2000s where Matthew McConaughey was just Mr. Rom-Com. It was just blah, 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 left and right rom-coms, right? And he had several hits and several misses, and he had several that people were divided on. And one of the ones that I always found the most fascinating was Ghosts of Girlfriends Past, because some people like it, some people hate it, and then there's some people who refuse to see it because it looked like such a nonsense rom-com. So it sits in that nice wheelhouse for me of like an interesting discussion movie, because I think there's a lot to hate about it. And I also think there's a lot to like. So here we are. Ghosts of Girlfriends Past is also an excuse of me to work on my Matthew McConaughey impression throughout the show.
You never fail to find a reason for that. The Ghosts of Girlfriends Past was directed by Mark Waters. You may know him as the director of such movies as the 2003 Freaky Friday, Mean Girls, and then some others.
Bad Santa 2.
Decent. Do what?
Bad Santa.
Oh, Bad Santa 2. Yeah, I wasn't going to name that one.
And also Mr. Popper's Penguins. Also, he was the writing team for this is the people who came up with the Hangover series.
Fascinating.
And they also came up with the Bad Moms franchise. And one of Andrew's favorite Christmas movies, Office Christmas Party. So
wow, all those movies are funnier than this one.
Right? That's a pretty crack writing.
At varying levels.
This. Yeah. Huh. So what a it's fascinating when you get to know the people behind the project.
And it's kind of a fascinating movie, isn't it? I'm not saying that in a good way, just like from an observation standpoint. It's based on A Christmas Carol.
Oh, very much so, yes.
It's not a Christmas movie, though.
No.
But it is based on it in the sense that Matthew McConaughey is this player guy who's against love and marriage and all this, and he is visited by his ghosts of girlfriends, past, present, and future.
Right.
To see the error in his ways.
That's true.
Go ahead. I was going to say that sounds ridiculously stupid on paper. So, what did we think? What do we think of the movie? I'd never seen it.
So you guys never saw it before.
I had.
So I'd be very interested to hear what you guys and what I thought about it. So one of you two, Josh, Garrett, whoever.
Well, I will say that it was maybe better than I expected it to be, but it is not one that I would go out of my way to watch again. It's like, I don't know. It hits a lot of cliches about rom-coms, which is both good and bad at times. The fun, almost sci-fi element of the ghosts is interesting, but overall, there's better.
What do you think, Garrett?
Yeah, I thought it was, I was honestly very concerned out the gate. I was really concerned because I already have issues with early Matthew McConaughey, like early 2000s Matthew McConaughey, through no fault of his own, mostly through creepy people quoting him from Dazed and Confused just made me not like him. It's not his fault. Just the creepy guys that are like my age, I heard too many creepy people say that. And so it just, and so when I went into this, all I could think was this is just an adult version of his character in that movie because he was just scum. And I was like, oh God, this is not going to be good. But they steered it. And I think that you can get away with a character like that if you make him a piece of shit. And they did a good job of making him a piece of shit. I never once in time rooted for him. I didn't want him to be with a girl. He was not a likable character at any point in time. But for some reason, the movie still worked. And I think it was just because he was such a piece of shit and everybody knew it. Well, it was humorous. It was fine. But yeah, I probably wouldn't revisit it.
No, definitely. Here's where for me, the interesting part of the conversation comes in. Okay. Because the character obviously draws from A Christmas Carol and Ebenezer Scrooge. And you can throw in a little bit of Benedict from Much Ado About Nothing. I think from the Shakespeare play, which is this character who's just very anti-monogamy, very anti-women in general. Well, not really in the being with them kind of sense. And it's amazing that Ebenezer Scrooge is a guy who's such an a-hole that he won't give to charity and says that poor people would be better off dying so they can make the population go down. And yet this guy's more unlikable. How did he pull that off in terms of that as a frame of point? You know what I mean? Like how do you get into that level of bad character? And it just kind of it's so funny because you look at the movie as it plays out and you're like, golly, this has to be 2002, 2001. This is just, but no, it was not that long ago. This is 2008, 2009. And it's just such a,
it definitely has an early 2000s feel.
You kind of in our own memories, I feel like we were out of that sleazy guy stage by 2009, but man,
some of us were never in it. Thank you very much.
we went, well, and I'm not saying that the three of us were, obviously, but just like as a romanticizing the idea of a guy who is kind of sleazy like that, right? And I think it's interesting too, because if you go and you look at Matthew McConaughey's filmography, this was like the last of those rom-coms. This was the one that came after Fool's Gold and Failure to Launch and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and all The Wedding Planner, all that stuff. This was at the long list of Matthew McConaughey rom-coms. You know, the thing I'll give credit for is that the big knock against romantic comedies and romance in general in Hollywood is that the leading male is usually really old and the leading female is usually in her 20s, you know, like in her young 20s. But Jennifer Garner and Matthew McConaughey are only, I think, 3 or 4 years apart, maybe 5. So this is actually, in terms of that dynamic, pretty reasonable, I feel like. And I thought that the movie did a decent job of taking moments from A Christmas Carol and putting them in this new perspective. The idea of, in A Christmas Carol, you have Ebenezer Scrooge, a moment lingering past when Ebenezer Scrooge would have seen it, and him not wanting to see the effects of what his cruelness did. And here you get that same thing with, after he, ditches Jennifer Garner's character, I think Katie maybe, and having to watch the morning after when she woke up without him. I thought that was a very good moment. I thought it was well played by McConaughey. Obviously, I think the world of McConaughey as an actor. I think that he's got a lot of range. This movie felt like it could have been a Jim Carrey movie at times, because it was just so middling in what it was trying to do, what it was trying to say. Did it want to be really funny slapstick, or did it want to be like a really heartfelt examination of a jaded person who's thrown up all these barriers? I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, middling is a good way to describe it, because it doesn't really say anything. It just kind of rides this line of mediocrity throughout. That is fine. It's not good or bad. It's fine. I think, McConaughey and Garner did make sense together. They are both very good at what they do. So they are likable leads, even when playing unlikable characters like McConaughey did. So yeah, I agree with you. I thought, I was reading, getting ready for this, that this movie was originally going to star Ben Affleck in the Matthew McConaughey role, and the movie was going to be directed by, wait for it, Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
So that, we're seeing a much different version than the one maybe originally thought out.
We got Jersey Girl instead, boys. We got Jersey Girl instead. Yeah. You know who actually I thought did a pretty good job in this movie was Breckenmeyer.
Yeah.
He didn't have a lot to do, but he was that emotional center for Matthew McConaughey's character. I mean, he was the one that really helped kind of spearhead that. He saw the pain that he caused Jennifer Garner's character, but hearing his brother defend him when everybody else was trashing him, and then that moment whenever Brecken turned on him because he was like, I can't do this anymore. Those are really strong moments, I thought, that added to that character. Yeah, I don't think the movie really says anything. I think it is just meant to be a funny rom-com. I don't exactly know when it came out, but it wouldn't surprise me if this was just some movie that came out to capitalize on Valentine's Day.
We'll get to that. Yeah.
I hope so. But whatever.
If you're going through life and your emotional center isn't Breckenmeyer, you're not going to make it anywhere. You're not going to make it
bash.
Breckenmeyer.
I agree.
Him and oh God, Zach Morris hanging out being lawyers.
By the way, secretly, one of the reasons I took this movie is because it did star Lacey Chabert, and I also really liked her as freaking out bride throughout this movie. Brecken is really good because Brecken has to take on kind of like 3 Christmas Carol roles in one. He has to be both. Ebenezer Scrooge has like a nephew who's like, come on, buddy, you're Uncle Scrooge, come enjoy Christmas. And then, when when Ebenezer Scrooge is watching the party without him, Fred's the only one who's like, hey, I know he's a bit of a crotchety old man, but he's he's had a rough life, let's be fair. And then he also kind of has to be Tim and Bob Cratchit, Tiny Tim and Bob Cratchit. We're at the end of the movie. Spoiler alerts. If you watch this with me later, we get this moment where we go through the future, and Breckenmeyer ages quite quickly. And I would never rudely or cruelly mock anybody in the industry for their work. But I did not think that the job that was done on the age makeup was very good for old Breckenmeyer. It was very, very noticeable. And Brecken did not look good, but his little thing where he's the only person at Connor Mead's funeral, and he's like, I guess it's me against the world now. It was
bad. It was bad.
Not,
but you know what, though?
Highlight.
It continues to be good throughout all of time. Younger versions of Michael Douglas.
Yes.
Always looks okay.
Michael Douglas is not aging.
You can young him. You can make him younger and still it works.
I also just, Michael Douglas, I don't know how he is able to pull off that character. Michael Douglas is one of the coolest people in the world, and there's no reason he should be. Looking at Michael Douglas, I don't think he was ever a ladies' man. I don't ever see that about him. Somehow,
that
never.
is exactly what I think.
I think because of his style. I'm being very superficial, and I do not think Michael Douglas is an attractive man, nor has he ever been an attractive man. So that's why it surprised me. But he is always like, yeah, man, and he pulls it off, and he's creepy, and he's funny, and he is an enjoyable piece of this movie that I did enjoy.
He has the swagger. It's very much like a weird mix of Wall Street and I don't know. I was trying to think something else. Tony Stark. I don't know. It's it's all swag and all cool. Now granted, he does drop an old fashioned homophobic slur in this movie, but don't let that detract you from him being just I don't know. It's like, do you ever watch How I Met Your Mother? He's like Barney Stinson, but always old,
Yeah.
And it's unlike, I think it serves to make you kind of want to like Connor more, because his uncle was so much worse. But yeah, he's kind of in that. Oh gosh, what's the name of the character now?
Bob Marley.
Bob Marley, thank you. He's kind of in that Bob Marley role from A Christmas Carol, where he's the guy coming back and saying you're gonna be visited by 3 ghosts.
Isn't it Bob Marley? Isn't that his name? I always thought it was Bob Marley because
Bob Marley or Robert Marley. It's one of the two. It was Marley and Scrooge.
Because that book is clearly older than Bob Marley, but every time I heard his name, I always made that association with Bob Marley,
the reggae artist. Yes, so he's named after, I believe.
I do think that was the attempt to make Matthew McConaughey's character more likable. It doesn't work. He's still a garbage person
by comparison.
By comparison, yes, I get it, but he still was garbage. Hopefully redeemable, but we'll see. Or no, we won't, but we can pretend he was.
Yes, definitely. Well, and I mean, it all goes to it's this idea of kind of uncovering, I remember somebody talking about this, that the male, I don't know what's the word, hero of sorts, sort of has shifted since the early 2000s, away from your sort of really chiseled, stone faced, no emotion, tough guy, right? I got a child back there now. To now Matthew McConaughey, it's not enough for him to just be that guy. There has to be a reason, and we have to understand him, we have to get into what made this person this way. And there has to be sort of a vulnerability that he's holding back. And that makes them, I think it's for a rom-com, that's what makes the male character more appealing to the female, is this idea that there's a broken unwillingness to have emotion that the woman can bring out. I don't want to get too psychological or anything, because I have no idea what I'm talking about generally.
But I was watching Girlfriend's Past.
But I was watching some videos about the development of rom-coms or romantic comedies or romance films over time. He hurt himself back there, so that's going to be great. Okay. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, that's what happened. Anyway,
let me put out a quick correction that it is Jacob Marley.
Jacob Marley.
Not Bob Marley.
I was thinking
not Bob Marley. This show will not peddle in misinformation.
No, please correct me.
Only the strongest fact checkers.
I am happy to admit
we heart Neil Young.
I've changed my opinion. His name is Jacob Marley.
Jacob Marley. I've been presented with new evidence.
New evidence has changed
my mind.
I have changed my mind.
We are not ideologues.
You know what? I think it is Bob.
We are not ideologues.
I'm doubling down. I think it was Bob the whole time.
That's not what I've read.
How do you know it's not Bob?
That's not the information I've read.
I can't prove he didn't go by Bob. He is fictional.
We'll agree to disagree.
Fine. All right.
Definitely.
Do we have what else we want to talk about with this movie?
Let's see here.
It did not come out anywhere near Valentine's Day.
No, it came out in May.
When did it come out?
Came out in May.
Do you want to talk about Emma Stone at all? I thought she was pretty fun.
Always funny, always great.
Always love. Yeah, always love to see Emma Stone.
I'm looking through the cast here.
If anything, I always want her to have a bigger role, but
it felt like there were certain characters that were like kind of meant to be bigger joke characters, like the dad who is the sergeant in the Marines, and like he has this whole like everything he does is very military.
That guy was ridiculous. I did not like him.
Exactly. That was kind of like a jokier character that felt like it was held over from previous.
Yeah, it felt like they didn't make him enough of a joke. Cause like, I'm sorry, I could barely look at him with those hair plugs and the bad dye job.
Yeah.
He was laughably bad.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't got much else. I thought it had a pretty fun soundtrack. There was a lot of like 80s and 70s. You had some REO Speedwagon. You had Kool and the Gang. So, pretty all right as far as all right. As far as music is concerned. But that's about it. I mean, the thing is, I just thought it was fun. I thought this is a rom-com that is pretty beaten on. And I thought it'd be fun to subject ourselves to it, especially since I don't think either of you guys had seen it before.
It was fun. That doesn't mean I liked it, but it was fun.
Oh yeah.
This is one of those movies that came out back in my movie theater working days, and I still didn't manage to catch it.
Hey, that happens. It's crazy to think that within 4 years. Within 4 years of this movie, Matthew McConaughey would be doing Dallas Buyers Club.
Well, that was interesting because he after this movie, he took a break for a couple of years and then came back with more dramatic stuff. I think his first movie after this was The Lincoln Lawyer.
So
he did a string of rom-coms and he did some drama. Now, here's the thing I want to do. I managed to do this without seeing it. I want to read some popular Letterboxd reviews before we guess the score. I have pulled them up without seeing it.
Okay.
With some magic hand holding. So just for fun, this may or may not influence people's score guess. So Number 1, this is a 1-star review. Emma Stone, sweetie, I'm sorry that you were dragged into this and had to play this awful role. 1.5 stars. To fully redeem the character that McConaughey portrays in the first 70 odd minutes of this movie, the runtime would have been closer to 7 years.
Okay.
1-star review. Absolute dog shit.
Tell us what you really think.
I'm trying to find a good review. Now, you know what? I can't. The whole first page is 1-star reviews.
Oh, you got to sort by rated.
Oh, that's smart. That's smart. I don't get why everyone dislikes this movie. It's a great movie and has quality actors and a good plot. 5 stars.
There you go. 5
if
stars.
I could give this movie 10 stars, I would. I think this is literally in my top 3 of all time.
Wow.
Matthew McConaughey and Jennifer Garner are both so very hot. Perfect love story.
I don't deny that.
Perfect character development. Perfect.
Both of them are very attractive.
And then one more, since I read 3 bad ones. I didn't like that one. Hang on. Five stars. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Rom-coms with Matthew McConaughey are superior to all others. Sorry, I don't make the rules.
There you go. I don't make the rules either. Well, we'll marinate on that real quick. I'll run through these box office stats. I only got 3 for you. Perfect. So it opened May 1st, Garrett. It opened opening weekend of May. So this was a summer
kickoff blockbuster season.
Yep. And you could guess, it was rewarded handsomely for that placement. Hey,
they missed 2 golden opportunities, though. I'm sorry to jump in. They missed a chance for this to be a Christmas movie, and they missed a chance for this to be a Valentine's movie. How stupid is that?
Exactly.
You have 2 things to capitalize on, and you throw it in May.
You're referencing
a lot of money.
One of the all-time, quintessential, as it were, Christmas stories, and you drop it in May. So it opened in the number 2 spot that weekend with 15.4 million. And it didn't have a ton of competition, except it opened against X-Men Origins Wolverine, which brought in 85 million in its opening week. So together, these movies made $100 million together. They were at the top of the box office. And number 3, you had a movie called Obsessed, which I believe is one of those crazy girl movies. At number 4, you had 17 again, starring Matthew Perry and Zac Efron. And,
I remember that movie.
I don't remember some other people. That was one of those movies you did manage to catch while working, I'm sure.
I did.
And then at number 5, you had DreamWorks' Monsters versus Aliens. Total, and this is one of those. Here's another one of those things that we can always talk about is these kind of movies don't really get made anymore. Romantic comedies specifically. Ben Affleck spoke about romantic comedies and why they don't get made very much anymore is because they don't make good international money. Because culturally, a lot of things don't translate. Ghost of Girlfriend's Past made $55 million during its run in the United States and made $47 million overseas for a worldwide total of $102.3 million. It would finish out 2009, in a towards the middle of the pack with where is it here? In about the number 33 spot, the number 1 movie of 2009, of course, Avatar. Number 2, Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince came in at number 3. Number 4 was Twilight: New Moon. And number 5, number 5, Pixar's Up.
Cool.
And the other film written by this writing team was in the number 6 spot. That was The Hangover. So I'll drop that in there. So these guys had 2 movies and they hit it big with 1. So
nice.
Do what you can.
Okay.
So now that we've had some time to think about it, what do we think this thing was on Letterboxd?
Yeah. I guess we can all guess since none of us have seen it, the score yet.
That's true.
Well, 2.3.
Oh man.
I'm gonna guess a 2.7.
Wow, that's high. I'm gonna go a little under Josh with a 2.2.
Okay.
I think a lot of people rate this.
Now that I've guessed, let me just open it up. Okay, what were our guesses again? 2.3 from me.
2.7 from me.
Okay. What was Garrett's? I missed.
2.2.
Okay. The final score is a 2.40.
Wow.
Based on 25,000 ratings.
A 2.4?
Yep.
Oh, that means it goes to Josh, yeah?
Yeah. I think that means it goes to me. Womp womp.
Do whatever he's doing.
So we will put a tally down that I have claimed the first victory of season 5.
Fooey.
2022. That's super exciting.
Write that down.
I will say, I think my final word on this movie is that the ultimate telling of a Christmas story or a Christmas Carol is still the Muppet version. The end.
Yeah.
No one else has done it better.
I think this one's gonna get a 2.5 from me. I think originally I gave it like a 3, but I think I'm gonna drop it to 2.5.
Yeah.
What are you giving it, David?
From my memory and on Letterboxd currently, I'd given it a 3.5 because I remember seeing it 2010-ish, and I remembered it fondly. However, upon watching it last night, I am going to have to drop it, I think, to like a 2.5, maybe a 3. I'm going to give it a 2.5.
I think that is what I'm going to do too. So we are all three giving it a 2.5 for various reasons. So that's always exciting.
Yeah.
David's came down a bit.
Yeah. I do still think that I there's some fun stuff in it. There's some laughing at ourselves from a few years ago kind of humor to it for me. And man, you just don't see Christina Miliani often, do you? And
I think that if I saw it, when I was 19 too, I probably would have also liked it a lot more back then than I do now. So there is something to be said about that. So we don't even have to do an average, really. That's just 2.5 for for all of us. So I guess that's it for the first episode of the year. How about that?
Wow, look at that.
Accomplished. So
season 5.
Yeah, season 5 premiere done. Like I said at the top of the show, we're doing rom-coms all month. Find us online at somanysequels.com. You can find our links there. And of course, please support the show on Patreon, patreon.com/somanysequels, or just download that app and search us there. We'll be here all month long with rom-coms. We'll be here for the Oscars in March. A lot of fun stuff coming up. So subscribe, like, and subscribe.
Smash.
See ya.